Hi everyone. We are starting the live in a few minutes. We are waiting for our guest Elizabeth to join. My name is Jennifer and I'm a counseling psychologist, just in case you're new here. So Elizabeth will be joining us in a minute, and let's be patient. In the meantime, you can get something to drink to keep you company. And yeah, we'll start when Elizabeth gets here anytime from now. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Elizabeth is a singer, she's a songwriter, and she'll be telling us her story of how she has dealt with mental health issues, specifically depression and anxiety for the last couple of years. And she'll be telling us that story. Also about how she has managed to survive in the creative industry here in Kenya as someone who has struggled with mental health issues. So yeah, that's the conversation we'll be having. Looking forward to talking to Elizabeth, and I hope you will enjoy this session with her. She should be here any minute now, so let's give her just a little bit of time. Let's be patient. Yeah, invite a friend if you can, so that they can also get to hear Elizabeth's story. And yeah, I think that should be a good thing, so that we can all realize that mental health issues are part of life. They're here and we all deal with them in one way or another. And hearing Elizabeth's story might motivate you to seek the help that you need. So this is a good time to listen to her story. If you're a creative, this is a good time to listen to her story, and I think you will benefit from it. So I am adding Elizabeth to the live right now, and it's just loading. It's showing me that she's coming through. And yeah, let's give Elizabeth just a minute. Okay, Elizabeth is here. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. Hello.
I don't know if you can hear us. You can hear me and see me clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
I just want to confirm from everybody else. Solstice, I can see that you're in the live. I can see Keith Ocheng is in the live. Could you let me know if you can hear Elizabeth clearly, or if it's a problem on my end? Because I think the volume is a bit low. Just tell me in the comments if you can hear Elizabeth clearly. Yes, we are back, Solstice. Can you hear Elizabeth clearly? Elizabeth, maybe you can say hi to guys so they can confirm your audio.
Hello. Hi.
If you can hear Elizabeth, just let me know. Personally, your audio is a bit low from your end, and I hope we'll be able to get through this. Yes, Solstice says that he can hear you, so I'm glad this is not. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Elizabeth, welcome to Safe Space Arena. Welcome to Conversations with a Therapist. I'm glad that you're here, and I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and being willing to tell us your story. Considering it's a very vulnerable story about mental health and being a creative in Kenya. So thank you very much for honoring my invitation. And maybe this is a good time for you to introduce yourself to the audience and tell us what exactly it is that you do.
All right. Thank you. My name is Agolla. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I also do script writing, but part-time. That is basically what I do as a creative.
Okay. So is being a creative your full-time job, or do you have another job that you do to support yourself financially?
Well, technically, I'm still a youngin. I just turned 20, so let's say I'm trying to find a hand in this creative thing.
Oh, okay.
Before I decide what I wanna do, technically. But mostly my mind is just set on just focusing on whatever I'm doing with my creativity.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic. That's great. Maybe then in that case you can tell us a bit about the origins of your creativity, when and how you started being a creative. When did you realize you were a creative person? When did you realize you liked music? All those things. Tell us the story of Elizabeth or Lizzie, if I
Yeah,
may.
sure. Yeah, it's right. So when I decided, when I first discovered that I wanted to be a creative, I started doing music when I was 3.
Oh, wow.
So when other kids were getting dolls, my mom used to get me a pitch pipe, but I literally didn't know it was a pitch pipe. I just used to blow it and blow it and blow it.
Yeah.
And there were these tiny phones that used to sing those Korean, I don't know if it's Korean or Chinese songs.
Yeah.
So at some point, I started exploring. Then going to preschool, I started doing presentations when the teachers were arranging us. Same to primary school. When I went to high school, I joined choir. I was very active in drama and the music club. And even when I finished high school, I started getting gigs when I started doing things with Kike, and I guess that is when I decided, like, I've been doing this since I was in school, and now that I'm out here, I want to do this thing because this is what makes me happy. This is what inspires me to be me. This is what makes me to be me. Yeah.
Oh, so for you, that creativity was sparked especially by the stuff that you were playing with when you were a kid. Having those, when guys are
Yeah.
getting dolls, you're getting these musical devices, and for you, that sparked the creativity, the music especially. Did you?
Exactly. And I've always been a child. In a way, we were raised. My mom raised us in a Christian home, so whenever she would say, whenever she at that time we used to use cassettes and these other things. Whenever I would hear songs on the radio and see people on TV literally doing it,
Yeah.
I used to be like, I wanna do that. Like, how is it that that person sings into a microphone and the voice sounds this way and that way? So I really aspired to be like that,
Yeah.
and I guess that is also gave me the motivation to like try it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Did you have people in your family who are musical, or was it just you? Are you the musical one, the creative one, or are there people in your family who are also very creative who might have influenced your creativity as well?
Well, my mom used to tell me my grandmother sang in choir.
Oh, okay.
So I guess at some point, I kind of took it, although I didn't spend too much time with my grandma. I guess it's just in the blood,
Yeah, yeah,
if I'm allowed to say that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in school, you've mentioned that in school you're also very active in the creative thingies. Did you have any teachers, peers, any people who are very encouraging and who influenced you during that time, or what was the experience in school?
Well, in school, I can't really say our school focused so much on like these creative things.
Yeah,
I remember when I entered, most especially high school. I remember when I entered high school, um, there wasn't any choir. So from one, from two, I kept on pestering the music teacher who was my class teacher. I used to tell him, Mr. Kimtai, like, won't you guys bring choir and everything and everything? So I didn't see as if he took it seriously. So one day I remember I wrote a letter and I actually went and dropped it in the suggestion box. So I think the principal stumbled on it. And when I reached Form 3, we were just called to the hall and we were like, okay, now you guys are going to audition. I was super, super happy. And after that, I also got a position as the choir chairperson. So the teachers around started seeing like I was really taking this thing seriously and it wasn't affecting my education. So at some point, they started telling me, even if you do KCSE and things don't go well for you, you have a talent. Focus
yeah,
on your music. There are people out there who are earning with their music.
yeah.
And I guess that also gave me peace. I felt as if I wasn't being judged.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Because it's very possible in school for teachers especially to be very influential. When you have a teacher who tells you don't do this thing, it can be very big because you feel if this teacher does not believe me, then who will believe me, right? But at least in your case, I hear that your
That's
teachers
true.
are very encouraging and people are supporting you. Is that the same case with your family, or what is the situation like with your family and your creativity? Well, how do they both interact with it?
Well, obviously, in an African household,
No, you started with a
obviously,
very
that,
emphatic well. It is like, well, what does that mean?
okay, like, well, in an African household, I can't really say everybody supports it. most especially these family members who are like the older generation, you know,
Yeah.
they're like, you know, music isn't this, art isn't this. Like you should just maybe do it as a hobby, and you know, it won't pay your bills. People won't take you seriously. Others even start insinuating and thinking that maybe you're joining this art as a way of like escaping the real life.
Yeah.
So I can't really say my family has been supporting me. And out of all the songs I write, it's only my younger sister. My younger sister is the one who like literally knows everything I do. Because like everything I write, I usually sample it to her. I'm like, hey Anne, listen to this. And she's like, it's nice, it's nice. But the rest, they just know I sing, but not as well as people out there tell me I sing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that do to you? What does that being in such a situation do for you? What is that for you?
Sometimes I tend to feel discouraged. Obviously, I'll feel discouraged, especially if it's like a lot of people telling me that whatever you're doing is not as in good.
Yeah.
At some point, I feel discouraged, but then I usually have a mentality in my head. I tell myself, whatever they say, whatever they do, I mean, it's my life, and I'm the one who knows what my art does to me. Because my art, in a way, um, at some point in my life, I I kind of had a problem interacting with people. I don't know. I felt as if I was being bullied in a way. So I turned to my writing, and writing has really helped me a lot in terms of expressing myself. So I feel like anytime if someone tells me, Agolla, stop writing, like it's like you're telling me to just go and die. Like
Yeah.
writing to me is everything.
Yeah.
It helps me relax and like maintain my sanity and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be difficult living with being with family that does not support the thing that you really like. I can't imagine how difficult that is for you and for your art as well. Do you end up finding yourself writing some of these songs as calling them out as a way to call out your family and be like, you're not supporting me, and then some songs are specifically dedicated to them? Is that something that happens?
It happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot and a lot of times.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that experience. And I hope anybody listening who has a similar situation where they are around people who don't support their creativity really takes heart and keeps pushing. Especially as you say, that for you, you keep telling yourself that it's the thing that you love and you're going to do it regardless of who is in support or who is not in support. So yeah, I think that's an important message. Shifting gears to the main focus of this conversation today, and it's about mental health. When we spoke before, you mentioned to me that you have experienced depression and anxiety, and the question then where I would want to start that conversation is you telling the audience a bit about how you became aware of mental health as a concept. When did you first learn there's something called mental health? What were the things happening at that time that you became aware of mental health?
So, the first time I came to discover mental health, that was in late 2019 November.
Mhm.
I lost a person who was so dear to me, and in a way, the environment that I was in, it wasn't really conducive for my healing. So I usually kept things to myself because I felt like, if I come out and speak out and tell you guys what you're doing to me isn't okay, or whatever you're saying is hurting me. At some point I just kept them to myself. And when I went back to school now, entering Form 3, I was so depressed. Like, I wasn't myself. Like, even the teachers realized I wasn't myself because I entered, I was failing literally exams, even exams of the subjects that I was good at. I couldn't express myself as easily as I was expressing myself the other time. Like I said, I started expressing myself well through writing, of which it was a bit of a challenge because whenever the teacher enters the class and the teacher asks a question and he or she expects like me to give an explanation. Like I literally couldn't say anything, and at some point it landed me in like a lot of trouble because some of them didn't understand the situation. And what did it do to me? So I really didn't know I had a problem, because when people were asking me, how are you feeling? How are you faring on? I was saying I was fine, and that's the end of the story. So I remember there's this certain teacher who came, and she just called me out, and she was like, Agolla, come out, I need to talk to you. Then she said, there's a certain counselor who is coming to school, and that counselor, I want you to speak to that counselor. So maybe during lunch, carry your notebook or whatever you want to carry, and go upstairs to the counseling room. So when I went there, and after that session with that counselor, that is when, like, when I was now coming back to class, that's when I was like, oh my God, like, he was asking me questions like, why didn't I tell him? Like, why am I having such a hard time to open up and tell him what is going on with me?
Yeah.
Because it reached a point I couldn't even sleep at night in the dorms. It was so difficult for me. And whenever the next day I will go to class, I will just sleep and sleep. And all this time I didn't know I was depressed. So after that fast, that is when I started realizing like, I have a problem. Then the second time I started opening up and like I started going for those counseling sessions like continuously, and I slowly started like seeing the change in me. I was now back to my jovial self. I started interacting with people. I was now very active in class. Like, that is when I realized how I should take care of my mental health. That is when I even realized what mental health is. I never really gave it a thought.
What was your first of all? I'm very sorry about your loss in 2019. Was your family aware of this entire experience, or was this something that you kept to yourself?
Well, I can't really say they were aware, because I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of, how African parents are, because if you come out and tell them, Mom, this is what I'm going through, or my grandma, I feel like I'm being depressed, the first question they'll ask you is, you're being depressed, you're not paying rent, you're not paying bills, like there's literally nothing you're doing. What is stressing you? You're not even married. Like, what is stressing you? So I was scared, and I kept it to myself. I was so determined that the day I will come out and say, you people, this is what was going on with me. Like, I've made it so financially, and like there no one can literally tell me anything.
Yeah.
At least they can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the most interesting thing is, if as you say, if right now you say that you're depressed, they're gonna be like, what is stressing you? You're not paying rent, you don't have any bills, you don't have any, you're not married, you don't have children. And then you say that maybe the time that you speak about this is when you're wealthy, you've made it financially and everything, and then they'll be like, you have all the money in the world, why are you depressed? Why are you struggling? We don't understand. Like, it's
So that's the irony.
it's so ironic. Like, you can never have the conducive time. There's never that time for, I am now in a place where I should be able to admit my depression and it will be acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting place to be in.
Yeah.
And
I can tell you,
yeah,
I can tell you for a fact, anyone who is in that situation, like that place where you're like, should I come out and tell them that this is what is going on in my mind?
yeah,
Or maybe should I just keep it to myself?
yeah,
It's really shocking, and it can really do damages to a person's mental health. And once your mental health is ruined, like, you literally can't do anything, and even your self-esteem will
yeah,
just go down.
yeah.
You can't even be able to like express yourself. And if you can't express yourself well, people won't respect you. They'll just be like, who's that one? Okay. Like,
Yeah.
they'll just be seeing you like you're like a trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. During that time that you started going for the counseling sessions continuously, as you said, and you started seeing the improvements, what can you point out to that was something very useful that maybe happened in therapy, or you learned from your therapist, that was very useful, that helped you during that time? What was something, not necessarily the entire therapy process, but one thing that you keep going back to even right now, that you're like, that thing was actually very useful that my therapist did or said that time, that right now I can always fall back on. Do you remember something of that sort?
Yeah, I can. So the first time when I continued going to that therapy, I remember the counselor asked me, like, what makes you happy? When you're not sad, like, what makes you happy?
Yeah.
What is it that whenever you do, you feel like you're safe, you're not judged or whatever. So I told him I enjoy writing. I told him whenever I write, I feel like no one can judge me because I have conversations in my head. Not that I'm going crazy, but I feel like I'm relaxed. Like I can understand myself and I can process my feelings well. So he took this seriously, and I remember one day, when was it? It was on my birthday. I was turning 18. He brought me a book actually. I think I have the book here because I was writing scripts. So this is the book he brought me.
Oh wow, that's cute.
I still Yeah, it was this and a pouch. So when he brought this, at that time I was writing my feelings and my scripts on a certain exercise book.
Yeah.
So when he brought this book, I was like, oh my God, this is so special. Like I felt nice. And then it was on my birthday. I felt so nice. And like when I got this book, I was like, I'm not just getting this book for the sake of like, you know what, it's your birthday, just take it. And then I write a little bit,
Yeah.
and I just like go back to system. I was like, I'm not just getting this book for that. I'm getting this book for, I will transfer this script that I've been writing.
Yeah.
I will scribble all the ideas that I have in my head. I will write everything in this particular book. So like even if it won't help me, to assist someone out there who is going through the same situation I was going through, because I know literally everyone has different coping mechanisms. And if I can't reach each and every person through saying, I know you're depressed, I know your mental health is at stake, or this, I thought maybe I could be writing articles and writing scripts or music, and that will be easier to reach them. So
Yeah.
I think this is something that I've carried from 2019 till now. I feel like it's now a big part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening to that story. I feel like and correct me if I'm wrong. For you, your creativity and your art has been more of a saving grace than it has been just a thing that you do. It's not just arty, I am creative, I'm gonna be creative. For you, it's more of a saving grace. It's rescued you from a time when you were struggling a lot, and it's one thing that came through that you are like, as much as everything else feels like it's crumbling, this is one thing that I can hold on to because it seems to be solid. This is a solid thing that I can hold on to, that can keep me afloat during this storm. Correct me if I'm wrong in that.
No, that is actually, whatever you've said is actually true.
Yeah.
My main agenda, since I was helped, I felt like helping other people is also essential to me.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm even doing these creative things is not only for, as much as people say you're doing music because you want to be famous, or you're writing script because you want to be famous. That's not my main agenda. I have an intention with my creative work.
Yeah.
I have an intention of healing those people and reaching those people that don't have an opportunity to even reach organizations like Safe Space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fantastic. I mean, it's also part of the reason why we do all this, that so that we know that you can reach. As a counselor, I know very well that I cannot reach every single person out there. I cannot have counseling sessions with every single client that exists in the world. And so sometimes when you do some of these things, like even having such kind of lives, it's so that we can remind guys that they're not alone, and we might say something that might change somebody's life even without them having to go to therapy. So I think this is important work that we are doing. So thank you so much for that. Just before we continue, I want to acknowledge all our viewers who are in the live right now, thank you for coming through. We appreciate your presence. And I can see that Solstice has sent a question that we'll answer in a few minutes. We'll answer your question, Solstice. And in case you're listening and you have a question as well, this is a good time to send it through. If you have a question about mental health, or if you have a question for Lizzie specifically, this is a good time to put it in the chat and I will read it out. So at this point now in 2019, you've gone through that period and you have found a way to cope, especially with your art. What is your relationship right now with depression and anxiety in 2022? Is this something that goes ebbs and flows like the ocean, or is it something that you've completely worked through now, you're depression free, or is it what is your relationship with your mental health right now?
Well, okay, also mental health is something that comes slowly. You just can't, okay, in terms of depression, you just can't be depressed now and then you're like, what? You just like, after a few days, you say like, I've stopped being depressed, and you start like bringing negative things around you. Because the minute you start surrounding yourself with negative energy, trust me, you will go back to square one, to the place you were trying to save yourself from. So I can't really say I'm that perfect of a human being. And also in this 2022, at some point I'm also struggling with some things that sometimes make me doubt myself. Sometimes I do cry a lot. Crying also helps. Crying is therapy. And what do I do to maintain my mental health balance now that the counselor isn't around me? What I do, I've kept on writing. Mostly nowadays it's music and less of scripts. I write scripts just a bit. What else? I've also encountered some good friends after I finished school. But I usually have that one friend that whenever I feel like this is something that is beyond me, something that I literally can't keep to myself, I just, speak out to avoid having those like suicidal thoughts and bad things happening to me. So I just speak out, because one thing that I came to learn is that when it comes to mental health, it's mostly about everything that surrounds us. You see, as a person, I might wake up in the morning and tell myself, go Agolla, you got this, you can do this, and everything. But the minute I step outside, maybe hate is being thrown at me, someone is saying something bad about me. The minute I open my ears and I start listening to that bad energy, I will go back to the same place that I don't want to go back to. And I kind of set a motto in 2022 and told myself, nobody or nothing will make me feel inferior, or will make me feel like I'm not worth it. It will only make me feel I'm not worth it if I allow it to. I choose what to take in, and I choose what to leave out. Not being rude, but I choose what to leave out, and I choose what I take in. And I think that has really helped. It has really helped even in terms of balancing my emotions, especially during this transition of, from teenagehood to like entering my second floor. It has really helped.
Yeah, that's fantastic. September is I'm glad that you've been able to identify the things that work for you and the things that don't work. Choosing your piece is number one. So I'm happy that you found a way to choose your piece and to find your piece. September is World Suicide Awareness Month, and you've mentioned suicide, and I remember that this is a good time to ask what message you have for anybody, considering this is the month. This is a good time to find out what message you have for anybody out there regarding suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, anything to do with suicide. What is your message right now to somebody who's struggling out there?
Okay, to someone who's struggling with suicidal thoughts, so I can't really say suicide is a good thing. And also, I'm not in the position to judge. and I'm not saying suicide is also a good thing. So what I will say to a person who is struggling is speak out. Speak out, and a problem, what is that proverb?
Let
A
me
problem
leave you
a
alone to
problem
struggle.
half shared is a problem half solved. So I think, but don't go around literally telling everyone, because
Yeah.
not everyone cares. Some people are just there to look for stories. We have CNN journalists around. So I would say just choose a person that you feel is understanding, someone that you can talk to, instead of keeping it to yourself. And also, the people who are listening to this live, you can also tell other people out there. If a friend comes to you and tells you, excuse me, can we talk? Like, sit down, listen to the person. Do not be too quick to judge. When somebody comes and says, I've been feeling like I want to die, and then you're like, hey, you want to die? You don't know. Yani, it's like you're not even helping.
Yeah.
You're being sarcastic instead of listening to the person and, trying to know where the genesis of the problem is and where the revelation will be. You just like attack them. I will prefer like listen to them and at least try to see what you can assist them with. I will also advise, if you're having suicidal thoughts, if you feel like you also don't have a person to like literally talk to, whenever suicidal thoughts come due to depression, instead of sitting in the house and like locking yourself in a particular room, or like just staying there alone, just at least go out, drink water, at least find something that will distract you. If you're good in music, do music. If you're good in sports, try taking up at least something that will occupy you. The more you're occupied, the more even the suicidal thoughts will just like start fading away, because you will start seeing joy in whatever you're occupying yourself with.
Yeah.
And just remember, you are loved.
Yeah.
You're loved.
Yeah, I think that's an important message. And to add on top of that, I want anybody who's listening, who will listen to this even in future, remember that there's help available. Right now, there's so many organizations that are offering counseling services. If you need counseling services even for free, there are organizations that offer. The young people can go to Kenyatta National Hospital. There's counseling services for young people. I think it's for free. And if it's paid for, I don't think it goes even up to 500. So even Mathari Hospital has counseling services. They have clinics for people. Don't struggle in silence. And of course, I'll be linking some of the services available. I will be linking them in the description of this video, so that you know that you're not alone, and do not sit in silence. Do not suffer in silence. Remember that there are people who care about you, and you can get the help that you need. With that said, I want to shift gears a little and go to the creative industry in Kenya, and you being a part of it as a contributor in your music and everything that you do as a creative. What do you think the creative industry in Kenya can do to support creatives and their mental health?
Okay, something that the Kenyan creative industry, creative industry, just like any other industry, has its ups and downs. And first of all, it should understand that whichever creative that is like out here is also a human being. So I feel like they should come up with policies that favor creatives, and instead of just how will I say, like, creatives, they go through a lot of mental things that give them stress, like finances.
Yeah.
And these other things. You hear creatives coming out and saying, oh, we haven't been paid, or I've been sent 1,500 and that can't even pay my bills and all that. And you see, a lot of creatives, when they have this stress, they go, some people, like I said, people have different coping mechanisms. Some of them will go and start abusing drugs, and that is how their career will end. Some of them will just be involved in many scandals. Some of them will just start doing some things that aren't really, aren't really okay. So I will think I'm just thinking that if they come up with like better policies that are focusing, that are actually beneficial to the creatives of Kenya, it will actually be better. Let me use an example. So it was back in May. I was actually shortlisted for a short course in Santuri. I will just use that example. So Santuri, it is Santuri Electronic Music Academy. They're teaching production.
Yeah.
So what I realized with these people, actually what made me love that area is that I got to meet creatives of all walks of life, you see. And before we will start the classes, I will remember, if I can remember, the teachers will just enter, and before we start anything, they will start by asking, hi, tell us your name, how is your day, how are you feeling today? And someone will feel so loved because everyone will listen, and someone will be like, today I had a bad day, or today I had a good day, and you could feel like the energy around was so supportive. Even if someone was having a bad day, the person feels like, I'm having a bad day, but woo, Santuri will just take it away. Like, and I also feel like, also, let me not speak in terms of just policies only. Also, like, let's support each other as creative to creative. You know, all this, like the creative industry just has a lot of things. Even if I start going in depth right now, it might take quite a lot of time. There's just a lot of challenges like gatekeeping and all that and all that. So also creatives should support jenga mwenzako. Let me just say that in Swahili. Jenga mwenzako. Assist the other person. If you see the other person is down, pull them up. And also you, if you're pulled up, just try and walk in the footsteps of this person. Stop trying to see as if you're greater than the other person. There's an African proverb that says you cannot bite the hand that feeds you. You have to follow the steps and keep on learning, because the person who brought you can't be jealous with you. The person actually brought you there so that you can also like grow and mentor other people. The more you mentor, the more we remove this jealousy. If we stay united, I feel like the creative industry will just be, it will just be like, it will be good. And even these cases of someone overdosed or these other things, I feel like even creatives will just like speak out. And not only in the Kenyan industry, like even the other creative industries out there.
Yeah.
I feel like if they create an environment that like someone feels safe, if they feel like their sanity isn't okay, they should just know like it's good to take some time off. Like, don't push yourself. If you feel something isn't working for you, take some time off. Just relax. Maybe you'll come back even bigger and better. Watu wache kuwekewa pressure nyingi.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. I hope the creative industry is listening. That is fantastic. And thank you for sharing that. There's a question for you here that says, how do you deal with writer's block when you're composing music?
Ooh, writer's block is real. So, how do I deal with writer's block? Let me just be truly honest. Let me just be truly honest. Well, like I said, I'm a person who writes from my feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't wake up in the morning and tell myself like, hey, now today I'm going to write a banger. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's just, I might wake up in the morning if I'm feeling happy and I start humming something in my head. I'll be like, you know what? I'm writing that immediately and immediately. And even when I'm doing the other house chores, I will literally I will dare to like think far so that I see where this is going to like lead me. And if I'm having a writer's block, sometimes what I do is sometimes I'm surrounded with my artist's friend, my artist. Marafiki zangu wasanii. So I usually take, if I have a writer's block, I usually take a piece that I have, and I'm usually like, yo guys, I came up with this, and they give a listen, and I usually take it to my friends who are like critics. Like I don't take it to a person who'll just be like, yeah, it sounds like this and like this. Like I take it to those friends who are like critics who'll tell me, I feel like this would be better in this way, in this way. And you know, if this one says something, this one says something, like my mind will start thinking a lot.
Yeah.
And I just tend to ask them like, is it okay if I add it?
Yeah.
And that just happens. Networking.
Yeah.
Networking actually. Do not as a songwriter, do not allow yourself to be like locked in a box. Be versatile. Think outside the box. You wanna try a new style? Try it. You wanna try some new words? You try it. You never know. Maybe you could be creating magic, and then learn to talk to people.
Yeah. So basically, do not work in isolation. Do not work in isolation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, do not work in isolation.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Awesome. So now we are coming to a very close end of this conversation, and it's been fantastic. I wonder if you have any resources you'd like to recommend to our audience today, something that you think would be beneficial for them. Maybe it could be something that you have used before to help yourself during the time that you struggle the most with your mental health. So it could be anything that has helped you in the journey, or it could be something that you've not yet tried out but you think could be useful. You can just let guys know right now something that they can use for their own mental health. This is the time to share their resources.
Yeah, so let's see, what is it that has been working for me? Resources. I can't really call it a resource, but let's say meditation. Meditation has really done a lot for me. Like meditation, don't how will I say it? Meditation is simply just sitting by yourself and, you know, collecting your thoughts in a peaceful environment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's also good to like take yourself from like the outside world. Take some time off, just go somewhere in a quiet place and think. And the time that you sit down and you tell yourself like, I wanna collect my thoughts and literally everything, you'll find yourself doing a lot of things. You know, the mind is very powerful. The mind is a very powerful organ in the body. Whenever you're relaxed, whenever you're chilled, and whenever as in your thoughts are collected, you'll find that you can do like lots of magic. So meditation does it for me. Meditation has also assisted in healing my inner child, things that I wasn't able to heal from when I was younger. I've felt like when I'm alone, it has also assisted me to like be a better version of myself. What also, I listen to other artists that I feel that their work can heal me, or it can assist me in attaining whatever I'm looking for. Such artists is Ambassa Mandela. I listen to him a lot. You guys should actually follow him on IG. I usually listen to more of his music because I feel like he's also more or less like me. His music isn't just music for the sake of listening. If you listen to the lyrics, it's sort of like an eye opener. It will expand your brains and like make you feel like, hey, and you have been sleeping. Like you will think outside the box.
Yeah.
Who else do I listen to? Wait. Yeah, I listen to Ambassa Mandela. Sometimes I listen to Jill Scott. Sometimes I listen to Adele. Yeah, I feel like those are like my to go artists whenever I'm feeling like I can't you know, like help myself.
Yeah.
What else do I do? I've mentioned connect with your inner child. I've mentioned meditation. I've mentioned my artist. Well, books. I can't really say I'm much of like a book person. Mostly I write for myself, you see. Writing for me is therapeutic.
Yeah.
And yeah. So books I can't really advise you. Don't count me on the book. What else? Organizations. Yeah, safe space. Oh my God, I even forgot the organization. Safe space. Safe space is also a good organization. Like whenever you feel you're down, just like, DM them, write them a message, and they will assist.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, like I mentioned, Santuri also assisted me, because like I'm also mentioning it because I felt like it valued creatives' mental health.
Yeah.
Like I said, before we started anything, they would ask us how we are feeling, how our day is, and everything. So Santuri is also a good place, and they usually have call outs for those creatives who want to do something in production, and they usually don't. It's an ungovernmental organization. They don't ask for like literally anything. They just support. So that will also help.
Oh, okay.
What else? Yeah, pretty much that. And surround yourself with good vibes.
Yeah.
Love yourself first. Believe in yourself. You got this.
Yeah.
Oh, and write things down. Write. Wait, I have something.
Tell me.
Yeah. So this one I wrote it a while back. I don't know if you can see it. I ruled some things.
Yeah.
And I wrote Agola's day on. So teach yourself how to like pre-plan. That will also assist, and it will help you not to like jump into conclusions. So first, mine, I wrote here activities, all the activities I wanted to do on that particular day. Then on the middle part, I write affirmations. Affirmations are things that I feel like, will keep me going even if I feel down. Then on the side, I write ongoing events. The events that are ongoing, the ones that will be successful, I tick. The ones that will be that are still pending, I write pending. Like I know what works for me, and I know as a person, like I've done this, I haven't yet completed this. I know where to start.
Yeah.
This is really therapeutic. Even if you're not a creative, this will really help.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all that. We really, really appreciate it. I'm sure somebody in the audience is going to listen to this and be like, oh yeah, that will work for me. And again, as we keep saying with these mental health resources, pick what works for you. There's no formula. There's no one thing that this is the proven thing that will work for every single person on the planet. That is not how it works. So I'm mix of things that actually works for you, and I am glad that you've been able to use that perfect mix for you to make sure that you maintain your own mental health in a good place. I really, really appreciate that. Somebody in the audience, Jada, says that just adding a point, strive to know yourself, like your origin, and I feel like it helps you to a large extent in dealing with your depression. Yeah, a big thing that I am advocate for is self-awareness. You have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you will struggle with everything else because you're coming from a place of ignorance. Know yourself. Every single day, strive to work on your self-awareness. I think that's fantastic. Agolla, this has been such a great conversation, but I can't let you go before you tell us how people can find you. So this is a good time to plug yourself, your stuff. Where can people find your stuff? Where can people find your work? Where can they find you if they want to work with you? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me on IG at Agolla the Multi-Talented. I'm calling myself the Multi-Talented because I also write scripts and I dance a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, on Facebook, you can find me at Lizzie Agolla. On YouTube, it's also Lizzie Agolla. On TikTok, it's also Lizzie Agolla, though I haven't posted things, but I have some good stuff coming for you.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Is that the same place where you put your music, or do you have a separate place where people can find your music?
That is where I put everything.
Okay, fantastic. This has been such an awesome conversation with you. I'm very happy that you came to Safe Space Arena to have a conversation with a therapist. This has been fantastic. And I want to specifically thank you for being vulnerable and accepting to talk about your mental health. It's not a conversation that most people want to have, especially with a total stranger, aka me. And so I appreciate that for you. You had the courage to do so. I want to honor that courage and tell you that it's a good thing and it will take you places. Taking a risk with your heart is an important thing. So thank you for taking a risk with me and being able to talk to me and to let the world know about your story, where you've come from, how far you have gone up to now, and where you're going next. And I can't wait to see the wonderful things that you're going to do in future. So this has been great. Thank you everybody who has been able to come through to listen, and everybody who will listen to this after it's been posted. Share it with a friend. Let me tell you one thing, be the first person. There's somebody told me this thing, be the first person who shares the things that are useful. There's some people who have never had any conversation about mental health in their lives. You could be the person that actually sparks the conversation about mental health in their life. So share this in your WhatsApp group, share this on Facebook, share this on Instagram, share this anywhere where there are people. Tell them about all these things. Send this video to somebody, to a creative near you. You never know which creative is struggling and how they're struggling. You could be the one that actually helps them. So share this video. Follow us at Safe Space Arena. We're always putting out content as often as we can. Follow Lizzie, listen to her music, support a Kenyan creative. Let's make things better for everyone around us. And as Lizzie said, let's continue being our friends keepers. Surround yourself with positive vibes and keep being a wonderful human all around. Thank you, Jada, for saying that you're one of those people. I'm believing that the one of those people means that you're one of the positive vibes people. So thank you for coming through. With that said, Lizzie, this is a good time for us to say goodbye. So thank you very much, and I wish you nothing but a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you.
Okay.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Ciao.